his background speaks for itself, right? He's been in the financial industry for many years with one of the largest banks in the world, and then went on to work with one of the largest blockchain companies in the world as their managing director, and recently has joined Aurum. We're so fired up. And with that, it's my pleasure and it's my honor to introduce you to the one and only Andrew Isaacs, COO of Aurum. Andrew, welcome to the call, and we're fired up. We've got our seatbelts fastened. We're ready to go.
Awesome, thank you, Shane. Appreciate as always the kind introduction and the high energy. Greetings to everyone on the call. Again, we have a packed house. Shane, you can see the screen, right? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, all's good.
Yeah, so before we even jump into this, I think one of the most critical things I'll outline here is, you're reading about AI on a daily basis, right? Not just in fintech, just broadly, across all sectors, and the rate of change that we're seeing in AI is really it's unprecedented, and things keep evolving. And to me, one of the things that is just so incredibly exciting about Aurum, and I've said this before, for the folks that I met in the Maldives, you would have heard me say this in person, and to folks I've met at the conferences. But we are. I think what makes Aurum special is again, it's not just the fact that we're adopting AI. It's not just the fact that we're kind of like toying around it, but we are developing. And we continue to developing. We continue to evolve. And so what we'll go through today is the next evolution that we've created and we've built, which continues to show unprecedented returns and gains. And as Shane had mentioned, this is just an evolution. I think what the exciting thing is here is when you speak to us, we will keep cadence with the rapid advancements that you're seeing in AI more broadly. And not just keeping cadence, but is staying ahead and continuing to evolve and deliver best-in-class opportunities that will, not just beat the market, but beat what we've done previously and historically. And that's our goal, to keep moving the envelope forward and forward, utilizing the tools that are becoming readily available, and democratizing wealth generation and wealth creation for the masses, which is what we stand for, and making these tools, which historically have been, frankly, just way too expensive. Before I jump into this, right, if you think about just quant trading as a subsector of finance, right, the quant trading research firms that have been out there, and they've been out there for years, right? They've had the tools. Put AI aside, just being able to access and chew through significant amounts of data. Those tools and those firms have been out there, but they have been reserved for institutional funds. They've been reserved for really large hedge funds or super high net worth folks, simply because they've just been so costly. And to me, the most exciting part here is the ability to provide these tools, right? Provide these quant trading algorithms and AI technology to everybody, right? And never in history has this level of quantitative trading and analysis and data being available at a cost-efficient way where it can be accessed by the regular guy on the street. And so with that said, greetings to everyone on the call. I'm really starting to enjoy get the feeling of this. My first one, I was a little bit overwhelmed with the number of folks on the call. But yeah, incredibly excited to kick off here and go through what we've been working on behind the scenes, which I'm sure everyone will be incredibly excited about. So with that said, it is with a great excitement that I am able to present to you Quantum Omni version 1.0. Omni being omniscient, omnipresent, representing more than one, right? And so when I go through these slides in a second, we'll talk about the evolution of the Zeus AI bot. We'll talk about Quantum Alpha, and then we'll talk about what Quantum Omni, the next evolution of this, actually represents. And in a nutshell, this has taken something from what has been, a single or singular AI-driven trading algorithm to now a fully autonomous trading intelligence engine, right? And again, and not to get ahead of myself, but the reason this is called Omni V 1.0, and the reason I deliberately started the call with expressing the cadence and the rate of change that we're seeing AI development is this is not where the road ends, right? This is just simply where the next chapter begins, right? And we will continue to evolve, and our tools will become smarter, more efficient, and continuing to edge out returns on the margin day in and day out. And so again, I don't think it's in my nature to ever have the same energy and hype as Shane does, but I want to deliver to you today some hard facts, and you'll see when we get to some of the results of what Omni's been able to do behind the scenes. It's really quite incredible. But again, I'd reiterate, this is, not here's our product and, good luck, but it's, hey, this is the next step. And no, I mentioned this to Shane and Ahmed and a few others the other day. But, you get certain technology companies that it is by design that they continue to innovate. You get a lot of fintech companies where they will come out with a great product or do something, and that again is sort of where it ends. What continues to blow my mind about Aurum is that change is the only constant, and not change in a good way, but change in evolution is the only constant. And again, some of these results are going to speak to themselves, but we're incredibly excited about what the team has cooked up here with Quantum Omni V 1.0. So I'm going to move over and again reiterating some of what I'd said before. But Quantum Omni operates through multiple, again. So the word Omni here is deliberate in what we call it. It wasn't just a cool sounding name, although it is. And again, AI engines and AI just more generally, right, will continue to learn and develop on itself. Now, the moment you compile multiple engines and multiple algos, the level of intelligence that is created, it compounds on itself, right? That's just simple math. And so what we had is, going from a sort of singular, incredibly successful and highly intelligent AI engine to now a unified trading intelligence framework, which is able to simultaneously across multiple market variables and through engines go from a highly robust and sophisticated algorithm to what we like to call now as autonomous intelligence, right? And again, this is now the giving the AI itself more and more tools to continue to develop itself. And it's highly specialized what we have here. This is proprietary. This is technology we've developed that we own, and again that is really the next step here in the evolution. So maybe just taking a step back and looking at our Zeus AI bot, right? As many of you on this call, this goes without saying, you should have at this stage a good sense of the Zeus AI bot. I don't know if anybody's new here or hasn't getting up to speed, but really it was at its core, a spot trading solution designed to provide automated trading across cryptocurrency pairs. And again, all these things, it's AI, spot trading, it's real-time performance tracking, automated market execution, multiple cryptocurrency pairs, as you can see. And I always get excited when I see the frog and the dog on a single page. This a lot of this just kind of goes without saying, or should be familiar to a lot of people. But it's AI-driven trading without manual market analysis or constant trade management, and this really was a cornerstone, and obviously is available directly within the Aurum ecosystem. But again, I would highlight, this is not just a single trading pair. Covered a lot of the major assets. A lot of the more meaningful meme coins, which folks get incredibly excited about. And look, I think taking a step back and looking at some macro analysis that's out there, I think we're starting to see BTC sort of bottoming out, or at least feeling like it's going to be bottoming out, in this 2026 period. And so, the returns that we're seeing today versus what the future holds, right? Where a lot of these non-ETH and non-BTC pairs have really are trading, I don't want to say near their all-time lows, but are really trading probably at the lowest they've been within the last 6 to 12 months. As this momentum starts to kick in over the next 3, 6, 12 months, I think we're going to see not just generally the market starting to move to an upward trend as we head toward the next BTC halving, but most certainly a lot of the memes, the non-BTCs, if you will, really starting to shine. At least that's my take and sort of general market consensus as we start to bottom out on BTC here in Q2 and Q3 of this year. Moving along here, so taking then, and I think this is important, and again, something has changed here, and I had said in the beginning, but it's how do we continue to evolve? So I really like this slide because I think it captures everything I've been saying for the last few minutes. But what is this? What evolution are we actually talking about here, right? As you know, well, in a nutshell, was what did we have in the previous Zeus architecture, right? Single, right? As I mentioned before, single, singular, however you want to word it, AI-driven trading algorithm. Robust, complete, highly intelligent, great performance, but single. When that algo, obviously, a single or unified decision-making progress, obviously sequential market analysis, but limited information processing capacity, and trade. Again, you'll see the word one, or you'll see single, or you'll see singular almost everywhere on the left-hand side of the slide. And again, if I'm repeating myself, it's me wanting to get this message across. We've gone from one to many, right? And one being Zeus, many being Omni, right? Again, the word Omni was chosen very deliberately here. And obviously, any adaptation and any growth that we're seeing behind Zeus would be limited to a singular algorithmic model. What we have on the right, and which is why Shane's so hyped up, I'm hyped up, I know Ahmed is hyped up, is Quantum Omni v.0. So everywhere on the left-hand side, one singular, uno. There's only a few languages I can speak, so I'm not going to say one in multiple languages, but you get it. 1, 2, multi, omniscient, omnipresent, all-encompassing, right? So instead of one, we now have multiple engine trading intelligence architectures. We have multiple, so this means you'll have multiple specialized agents working simultaneously together, learning from each other. And this is one of the most critical points for those of you who truly understand machine learning or large language models, right? And that is the more data that you have in, the more agents that you have, or the more engines, if you will, that you have working congruently and with each other, compounds the engine's ability to grow itself, right? So if you think about taking something singular, it's going to learn from the data that it's gathering. If you think about a multi-pronged approach, each one is learning from the data inputs and the intelligence that they are gathering respectively, and putting that together to get compounded growth. So when I think about V1.0 here, which is really mind-blowing, and you'll see some of the results, that the rate of change that is going to be able to improve on itself is unprecedented, but also not necessarily unique to Aurum. It's something that holds true just for AI more broadly, for those that truly understand AI and its path to some form of singularity and true human intelligence, which I know Elon Musk and Sam Altman and folks really believe that we're at the cusp here of seeing if you go back in time and think about the different, the ages, right, from Stone Age to Iron Age to industrialization, right, to the invention of, when we first started using computers. Each one of these periods of time, the rate of change, between each one became higher. But what we're seeing with AI here is truly just an unprecedented rate of change. And again, given where we sit in the market, given where we sit with our proprietary intelligence and our incredibly highly skilled development team, we're not just copying and utilizing tools that are available. We're developing tools, which puts us at the forefront of this rate of change, right? Which is, if you give me an hour, I'll speak about it for an hour. So obviously, you're going to see real-time analysis across multiple market signals, right? And this, everything you guys know, whether it's liquidity, trends, sentiment, market conditions, all these different data sets analyzed independently, put together, analyzed together, growing and learning on itself. Autonomous execution is therefore optimized by multiple intelligence systems working coherently in a unified way. And you're going to see, it goes without saying, if I have something that is more intelligent, has more sources of data, and is continuing to evolve on itself, I'm just going to see faster adaptation, and goes without saying, I'm going to see better results. I'm going to be able to capitalize on volatility in a much more meaningful way. And the predictive ability or predictive nature of this just becomes more and more sophisticated. So basically, you're taking a step back. We, as everyone on this call knows or should know, right? We obviously had a fundamental and core tool which continues to perform incredibly well by way of Quantum Alpha. And again, what does Quantum Omni represent? It's the next evolution of our trading intelligence engine, right? And today, our AI bot is powered by Quantum Omni's advanced trading intelligence architecture. These are all really big words, but it's really, if you take a step back, again, going from single algo, single points of data collection, single development, to a full intelligence platform, multiple data points, multiple access, and a full system architecture. So now this is the part that should get everyone on this call really excited and make me sit up in my chair a little bit. But evolution for the sake of evolution in any business, right? If Amazon is evolving but delivery times aren't becoming quicker, or damage is not becoming lower, or human hours are not becoming less, it's just evolution for the sake of evolution. Ergo, right, on a fintech one, if we're saying that our tools and the way we're taking now across multiple engines is advancing things, well, then the results need to speak for themselves. And what we're seeing here is phenomenal, final close testing results, right? And these results that you're seeing on this page were achieved during our final close testing period prior to the deployment of the new trading intelligence architecture. And so across three core pairs here of three of the largest market cap coins out there, through May 1 through May 31st, right? So again, this is a 30-day return. Obviously on the ETH pair, seeing 20, almost 25%, on BTC 20%, on BNB 17.6%. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm close enough to the market to tell you that neither one of those coins increased in that much percentage on a spot basis. In fact, they all went the other way during that same time period. So, there is, if we think about who we're selling to, and we think about what we're trying to achieve, for me, if I was sitting there and you're saying people are excited about crypto and this evolution of finance, right? And one argument that could always come is that, look, I'm long-term bullish on Bitcoin, so I would, just buy Bitcoin and hold it for 3, 5, 10 years, whatever it might be. But what we're seeing here is, we're able to generate returns, right, in markets that are volatile, but also markets that are directionally going the opposite way during certain periods of time, right? To be able to generate that level of return, let me say this in a simpler way. If Bitcoin was up 20% in May, right, or 18, let's say Bitcoin was up 18% in May, and we had a 20% return, I'd be like, okay, right, great, right? You eked out a bit of alpha on what is a rising market, and a rising tide lifts all ships. So I would expect all the altcoins to do the same. But it's on the contrary. We're able to generate returns in volatile daily markets that are volatile on a daily basis, but that are also potentially flat or down over a 30-day period. And when you look at those, when you look at those returns overall in terms of what the market's done, right, to be able to outperform, right, what the market's done and beat it consistently is phenomenal. And to give you, by way at the bottom of the slide, which is critical, we're looking at 2 to 3.5x higher performance, right? I'm saying if you told someone you got just a 2x return on something, right, that would be phenomenal. We're able to generate 2 to 3.5 times greater return, right, than what was already a phenomenal algo and trading engine. And so, to me, for everyone on this call, and I know there's a lot of you see hands going up, and I wish I could see Shane's face now because he builds a hype, but I cannot stress that is one thing why I always love meeting people in person. To sometimes it's difficult over Zoom to truly making sure that people grasp what it is that you're seeing on the slide, and just how significant this return really is. So with that said, I think it's important for everyone on this call that you truly understand what, again, we're talking about intelligence architecture, we're talking about larger frameworks, we're talking about integrated multiple systems here. But some kind of, what does that mean on a nuts and bolts level, right? And as I've said multiple times, think singular, think one, think individual. This is how traditional quant models or data systems might work, and traditionally even how our first algo was, right? That rely on a single source of analysis. They're incredibly good at how they chew through that data, at how they predict around that data, and how they make decisions on that data. But again, it's singular, it's single source, right? We're now obviously, as I've said multiple times now, operating through, I've said multiple times, this is great, working simultaneously across different market dimensions. What are those dimensions? Market intelligence, liquidity and execution, news and sentiment analysis, and continuous optimization, right? To me, the liquidity and execution here is always most critical. You need markets with deep liquidity, and your execution needs to be highly efficient and quick. But we'll start just with market intelligence. There is so much data that exists today, right, that historically would have been impossible. Well, from a cost basis, as I said before, would have been impossible for any individual to afford, right, the tools to even just truly analyze the market intelligence out there. But we've got obviously multiple tools here that are analyzing data across trends, market structures, volatility, emerging opportunities, all in real time, all 24/7. From the liquidity and execution part, obviously, this speaks for itself, but the engine here will always go for the most optimal liquidity pool, as well as the most optimal trade execution strategy, right? Again, if you think about something being singular, it is hard for any engine, regardless of how sophisticated it is, to decide what is, or it will still make an optimal decision, but it's going to be making an optimal decision on a limited set of data, right? So the moment you increase that data, or you increase the inputs, or the engine's providing that data, it is now able, instead of choosing, the best one of X, it's now choosing the best one of many, right? So again, what we're talking about here is squeezing out margin and squeezing out return just truly on the margin, just edging out, in a nanosecond, right? What is the optimal route to take for any specific trade at any specific minute and any specific day. Sentiment and news analysis to me is a critical one, because we often see crypto markets behave quite erratically. Right, you have things that can move these markets in a couple of minutes drastically. You've seen some potentially less sophisticated bots, if left unattended, can actually drive flash crashes and move markets down. We saw a lot of that, in around March of 2020, when COVID came out. Again, to have multiple engines assessing multiple data points across news and sentiment 24/7, it allows our agents to make the best possible / optimal decision at any given time from a myriad of data points that, as an individual, right, as a regular trader or a regular person, there's literally would be impossible. It's quite, no matter how good you are, you would not be able to absorb, right, that level of news and sentiment, right, to then make a decision, right, regardless of how smart you are. There's just too much going on. And then, obviously, as I've said multiple times here, these engines continue to learn and develop by themselves, on themselves, and the more data they have, and the more data points they have, the smarter they become, and the quicker they become smarter, and obviously more efficient, right? So if you think about it, right, we're at its core here distributing, right, it's a distribution of analysis and decision making across multiple engines, right, as opposed to having a singular. It's again, it's just distributing it, right, all while maintaining a unified trading strategy. So I think if you truly understand this intelligence framework and why it will eke out greater returns on the margin, it's not difficult to understand, right? If I have more data in, and I have more engines analyzing that data and can compare things past each other and feed each other information, it will make the most optimal decision based on a significantly higher number of data inputs. All right. I think this is a critical piece here, and I know everyone will be excited about this. So what does it look like to go from transition to live here? So, June 15 would be the next stage in the evolution of Quantum Alpha as the first live trading agent within the Nero ecosystem. Obviously, Nero is something, as you guys all know, I'm obviously incredibly excited about. I was at the ETH conference and an event last night, talking to a lot of market makers, a lot of exchanges, and really what the feedback that I received and the excitement around Nero is exciting, incredibly exciting, right? And and I think we're going to potentially see a lot of other folks trying to mimic that, because the demand will most certainly be there. So, following the completion of the beta period, Quantum Alpha will officially transition to its live phase. So if you look at the performance fee here, day 1 to 30, 15%, days 31 to 90. So the 3-month period, a 30% performance fee, and then 90 after the 3-month period, it's a 35% performance fee. So, Quantum Alpha is, continues as a fully live trading agent operating within Nero's non-custodial infrastructure, which is again something so avant-garde on itself. But again, the official live phase, right? And I'll say that again: the official live phase begins June 15, 2026. So that is less than a week from today. I believe that's Monday of next week, if my math is correct. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, mark that date in your calendars. It's one I'm incredibly excited. It's 2 weeks before my birthday. So June is always a month that I've been excited about. I share a birthday with Elon Musk, June 28th. So feel free to wish me happy birthday. But this will be an exciting month to go live here. All right, now Shane.
All right, thank you so much, Andrew, for
perfect.
that. And I'm getting my chat is blowing up right now because people are fired up.